Welcome back, everybody, here to your coverage of the Dota 2 Champions League. I'm your host, TobiWan, and I'm joined by...
The capitalist.
Yeah, that's right. He is the capitalist. Like, there's no other capitalist apart from the capitalist.
Yeah, if you Google capitalist, I should be the first thing on
You
the
should
list.
be.
I should be.
But you're not. We're going to get you there,
I'm
man.
not.
We're
getting there. We're getting there.
The Google index will soon be updated to only include this version of the capitalist. But let's look at our game right now, man, because we're going to have Liquid and Sigma going up against each other again. I love how TC in the first sets of bans takes out the Bane. He knows Sigma loves it. And also removes out the hero they played in the last game. I'm not going to say he was like the most powerful, oh my god, very difficult to deal with hero being played up by Liquid, but he definitely did his part. And it's going to be the Slark being taken out.
Yeah, you know, and this says something about Team Liquid. They put more value on the Slark than they do the Elder Titan.
Remaining.
Because they give Sigma Elder Titan. It was one of those two options, presumably. I mean, I don't know how Sigma feel about Slark. But
Sigma don't mind Slark. Like, Miguel actually loves his Slark. Like beyond all. Like, I remember I referenced him during the EMS finals. I was just like, you know, Miguel is one of these guys that, like, he's got this old stretch of heroes that he always used to love to play, and Slark was one of those guys. But Sigma, I also know, value the Elder Titan above anything. Like, it just comes down to the fact, like, Fly is the same kind of thing from Fnatic. He's just like, okay, if I can get the Elder Titan and Crystal Maiden combo, I'm good. Like, if I can get that in my first two pickups, I won't care about anything else. And you also saw it earlier today. It was how Na'Vi got crushed. And I say crushed by Gold Black's draft. And that was like 17-minute GG because they went up against the full negative armor strat and with a Razor to boot. It was just impossible to play up against. And normally, like I remember I told you when you came in, I'm like, man, this is what happened because they let him have the three amigos. It's the Elder Titan, it's the Dazzle, and it's the Slaughter. You put these three guys together and nobody survives. It's just that simple. The only thing you have to do when you have that combination is win the first part of your laning. If you do that, you're set for life.
yeah, I mean, you don't have to have really any damage items when you have that much armor negation from Titan and then active minus armor coming out from like the Dazzle and that sort of thing. I mean, that's just an awful thing to try and fight up against. I expect that the best way to probably deal with that is just constant split push, but you can just never fight at that point in time. That sounds very, very deadly. Chen and Bristleback going to be picked up, so Team Liquid do get their offlaner. Again, like going back to that Slark,
5 seconds
they could have
remaining.
let Slark and Elder Titan through, and they would have gotten one or the other.
Reserve
Which we know
time.
Team Liquid loves Elder Titan. They obviously love Slark, but apparently they think a Slark is so OP, they're not willing to take that chance. They just let Elder Titan go to Sigma, and they're going to be able to pick up the Bristleback. I can't say I've seen Team Liquid run Bristleback yet.
You haven't?
No, I haven't been able to watch a bunch of their games yet.
No. I'm also in the same boat, man. Like, you've been living on China Zone. I've been living on something else.
Something in between.
I don't even know what I'm living on.
Wraith Knight Zone.
You know how much Wraith Knight screwed me up. Like, I was like on the
It
perfect
messed
time
Toby
zone.
up so badly.
Oh god,
Team Liquid's
I can't
turn
believe
to
it. Like, those two
battle.
And
nights
the
in a
best part
row.
is, like, I didn't know this, but the best part is apparently Toby hasn't played it since that one night. It only,
Yes!
Like, I thought it was actively messing with you, that you would go home and you'd be like,
No!
more Wraith Knight. No, it was just
No!
one night,
I
messed
try
him
and
up for the
sleep.
rest of the week.
I literally
10
try and
seconds
sleep, and like
remaining.
it doesn't work. And if I'm not asleep by like 7 a.m. in the
5
there's
seconds
always some
remaining.
loud German who's just like bratwurst, bratwurst, bratwurst out my freaking window, and I'm like, what? Just let me sleep. Just let me sleep, damn it. It screwed me up. That's the reason also I wasn't here casting the third.
Because apparently Germans just late at night just scream bratwurst, bratwurst, bratwurst out of Toby's window, like they're like summoning bratwurst somehow.
I'm just filling in some words which don't.
Yeah, I
Which
know,
I don't
but
understand. Actually, that's not true. If I really wanted
if
to
you
try,
learn
I could ask
any,
a German
I was about to say, if
10
you, I was
seconds
about to say, if you
remaining.
put in the effort, I'm sure you could come up with a German word that wasn't some sort of food that everyone knows about. Anyway,
Team Liquid's
this
turn
game,
to
Crystal
pick.
Maiden and Venomancer taken away to, again, the slows with Bristleback, very, very deadly. I'm interested to see if they run Storm Spirit, though, because that is a good hero to run with Bristleback. And meanwhile, the Necro No surprise there. Big counter to Bristback. Seen it a lot in G League so far. And the OD taken out. Generally a strong laner that Sigma do like to run.
Yeah, Fader just loves him in the middle lane. And I know, like Mad was talking about when he was casting with me too, and it's just like, man, like as far as any kind of hero that's in the middle lane, like if you're playing the OD, you love it. But if you're playing up against the OD, you'd rather slit your wrists than play at all.
Timbersaw is picked up, and that's going to be their mid versus the Dragonite. So they have what is typically 2 offlaners, but Timbersaw is going to return to the mid lane. For one night only.
It's just, how long has it been?
Oh, well, I actually happened earlier in G League.
Did it?
Toby.
So I wasn't watching. Sorry, it was longer for me than obviously it was for Cap. Timbersaw offlane is all I've seen of late.
Now I know what it's like. Usually the shoe was on the other foot because you were constantly casting and I had to work and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now I'm casting all the games and I'm like, actually that just happened.
It's kind of wonderful, isn't it? Like I actually get to sleep these days. I'm not quite sure what to do with myself.
Man, I actually get to cast Dota games.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Crazy. And not have to like do a 18-hour shift and then come and cast Dota games. Yeah.
So that's going to be your mid versus that. We still need a slow to be picked up from. I mean, you'd like to be able to run the slow, but it seems like every single one of them, any sort of those good, strong laning supports has been taken out of the pool by Sigma. They've got the best one in my mind, Visage. You could argue CM's a little bit better. They're going to go for a push. I was wondering if Team Liquid was going to do this. They already have the Chen. They Dragonite. The last key, like Vici Gaming.
Yeah, that's it.
Pugna.
Can you feel the VC?
And it's also good with an offlane Bristleback. Like, Bristleback is very good with the Dragonite at being able to force situations, get up in their face, leaving room for Pugna to be able to operate in the shadows.
Mm-hmm. It's the perfect lineup. It really is. It really is. Like you can't damage it down. You can't fight directly against it while it's taking out your towers, and then you got the insurance of the Chen. It's a crazy lineup. It really is a crazy lineup, and it's not one of those ones you can ban out against either. Like you take out the Alchemist, take out the Prophet. That's fine. Then you look towards your laning area, so you take out the CM, you take out the Venomancer. Like, you can't blame Sigma for what's going on here, but the lineup from TC, he just set it up perfectly.
Yep.
Took out a lot of the direct counters, took out a lot of the heroes which have been screwing around with the lanes. I wouldn't even be surprised right now if he considers banning out the Lich. Just as one thing that's like maybe affects his lanes a little bit too much, but they could run duels with this, like the Bristleback on the off lane, Pugna. I'd like to see him actually being played up by TC in this game and not by Bulber in the mid. Actually put the DK in the middle lane. Remaining. You could put Pugna up against the Timbersaw in the mid, but I'm just a little bit fearful for Pugna.
5 seconds remaining.
And just use the Pugna on the top lane to push down the towers. Because Chen will just come out of the jungle and go, yo, what's up? Sorry, on the bottom lane. And just like push out the tier 1 tower. Leave the Bristleback up on the top.
Yeah, the only way that they'd really not put like the only thing they would rotate those lanes around is that they don't want to run Dragonite versus Timbersaw. That's still an okay lane for Dragonite. Pretty much any lane is okay for Dragonite because he picks up an extremely fast bottle, like 2 branches and 2 shared tangos sort of fast bottle, where he throws 1 flame breath and he practically has a bottle. And he just spams the bottle crows and spams it out. So no matter what lane he's up against, even against a hard counter like Timbersaw, who does very, very well against strength melee heroes, it's still going to be decent lane. So they could consider putting Pugna mid, but that would leave Pugna susceptible to ganks. It's one of the reasons why you see a lot more glass cannons being rotated away from the mid role and into the 1 position, just because rotations, we're seeing so many rotations nowadays that it's necessary to give tanky heroes or heroes with some sort of escape mechanisms or ranged heroes that stay back, any of those that aren't really as susceptible to ganks is very, very important. Pugna also needs to be able to have an early start, and it could really shut them down if they do, if he does get ganked. Shadow Demon is now going to be banned out by Sigma.
Remaining.
So going to be able to take away one of the last remaining supports
5 seconds remaining.
that would really set up Pugna, Dragonite, and Bristleback really well. That's a very smart ban. Instead, they're going to go with the Skywrath Mage, so we're going to get a little bit of a silence against the Timber Saw. I like it.
It's really good, man. Like they
It's
needed
really
something
powerful.
up against the Timber Saw that wouldn't be really susceptible to being like murdered. That's why I thought like Doombringer might be a better choice for him. But they've already got Chan in the jungle. Things are already getting a little bit stacked. They went into some kind of lane presence, and that's what Skywrath Mage does offer for them. Also, to answer your question from before, it wasn't Alliance that won from you when you referenced the
10
tweet.
seconds.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think so. It sounded
was-
like that frowny face.
It was like Alliance
5
went for the level 1
seconds
Roshan, and
remaining.
then they got destroyed. So, yeah.
That's-
Sorry for spoilers, but it seems like the
Reserve
game was
time.
over rather quickly
Well, you
anyway.
still don't know exactly Alliance game we're talking about, so.
Yeah, true.
But,
They've played a lot of games.
They have played a lot of games. You know what this combo does, Toby?
What does this combo do, Cap?
Pugna and Skywrath Mage together have just made the level 1 Mystic Flare level 2. They've made the
Of
level
course.
2 Mystic Flare better than the level 3 Mystic Flare. And they've made the level 3 Mystic Flare do 1,800 damage.
How do you survive? It's like Windrush
don't know.
Windrush
I
is
don't
like, I'm supposed to have evasion. I'm supposed to be able to avoid these kind of things. Wait, no, I can't.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about Decrepify and spell resistance reduction by 50%.
Yeah.
So when Mystic Flare is doing 600 damage, you lead with the Decrepify instant Mystic Flare, they're slow enough, they're going to be taking the full amount of damage most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking 600 damage and turning it into 900 damage. So not only is it good, yes, we love the Silence versus Timber Saw, that's great and everything, but extremely powerful nuking coming out from that combo.
And it's crazy. It's really crazy amount of damage they can dish out. At the same time, Sigma, like you can't count them out either. Like we do have some good range damage. We do have some good range controlling
10
abilities too.
seconds remaining.
Once those familiars come up, then the Pugna Ward we saw it in the last game. It was always
5
getting
seconds
sniped off by these
remaining.
guys, which is kind of funny because the way the Pugna Ward was changed, it doesn't really matter how much damage the familiars dish out because they are counted as basic units when they kill off the Pugna Ward. So they take time to bring that down, which sometimes like wastes
Prepare for battle.
your damage during a team fight, but it didn't really seem to affect Team Liquid that much during the last game. So we'll see how much it affects Sigma this game as we'll check out our lane. So we will be having the combination together, TC as well as the Pugna, as well as Skywrath Mage or Matt Damon being played up by Fluff and Stuff, who doesn't really look like Matt Damon, but Skywrath Mage does. Quoit will be the off-lane Bristleback, just trying to survive. Bulber in the middle lane, bottle rush for him. He's got nice, like, even look at the way he did that. It's almost like a basic smiley face, just missing the extra tango in his inventory. And then way too sexy will be the Chen. And for Sigma, it's a defensive tri-lane. We'll have Bucking Mad as the Wind Ranger up on the top lane. He'll be babysitting. Whoops, let's go over to the right hero. Soshka as
30
the
seconds
Conquer,
to battle.
and that puts Pass onto the supporting role as the Visage. Middle lane will be played up then by Fader, and then that leaves our last one, Miguel off lane as the Elder Titan.
Well, they're going to start out with a defensive dual lane here, which Miguel should, again, without an escape mechanism, Elder Titan, he may be able to come forward because it's dual lane. He'll pick up more experience than normal. He won't necessarily just get harassed out immediately. But even
The
before
battle
level
begins.
6, this is still a disgustingly high amount of nuke damage coming out from these two. Fluff and Stuff on the Skywrath Mage. We've seen the harassment of Arcane Bolt at level 1. I had Nahaz calculate how much damage exactly 351 mana gets you for a level 1 Mystic Flare, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And you combine that with 2 different slows. Once these heroes get to level 2, you lead with a slow from Skywrath Mage, follow up with the Decrepify. Both of them throw 1 nuke, and you're talking about a good 400, 500 damage just from that. Auto attacks, Miguel has to be really, really scared in this lane.
Oh, look at it, he's just being zoned out right now by Fluff and Stuff. Later on, this is going to hurt a little bit more. Fluff and Stuff, he tried to evade the Spirit for a moment, but it's not really going to do that much. Fader in this middle lane, I'm interested to see just how well he goes up against Bulba. Now, Bulba just picked up his bottle, and it's coming out in the courier to him right now. But I'm really interested to see just if Fader can get the upper hand here, or if Bulba is the man that ends up taking out this fight. Because he's 4 for 0 up against like a 4 for 1. Obviously, the CS is going to be the big thing here. It's Bulba's burst damage. It's that breathe fire where Fader's reactive arm will never be able to react to it. Pun intended.
Yeah, Fade is going to have a slight disadvantage until he picks up Bottle. Like, normally he has an advantage, then Bulba picks up his Bottle. He gets a slight advantage because he's now being able to spam out Breathe Fire. Normally Dragon Knight picks up a Bottle faster because Timbersaw typically has to go Stout Shield. It's just too good. It's too necessary on Timbersaw, who has no armor in the beginning of the game. So he's going to pick up his Bottle a little bit later, but once we start getting into level 4, level 5, we've got a Bottle up on Fade. This lane should go the way of Timbersaw.
Yeah. Look at this bottom lane with Elder Titan. He just tries to hold the creep wave back, throw a Spirit over and say hi to Fluff, and Fluff is sitting at level 2 right now.
Yeah.
Elder Titan must be looking at this lane, just going, as long as I don't get in range of both TC and Fluff, I'll be able to live in this lane. But at all other times, his life is forfeit. And now Chen, let's go be an Invis rune. So the perfect rune for Miguel. He could have found himself being pincered in for a moment, but it's allowing him to soak up a little of extra experience.
He still has to be careful, though. We do have counter wards.
In fact, yeah, they just threw down the sentry.
I don't really know about throwing it down that early. Like, you're obviously not going to kill him. Like, you've got a Wild Wing Ripper. Like, there's nothing that you can do about that. I guess he wants to make sure that, actually, it's probably to protect his camp. Because just one Spirit would be able to take a lot of those creeps that he's popping right now via Tornado.
This top lane's kind of hilarious. Bristleback just keeps sneaking his way in to try and soak up a little bit of experience, and then Mad comes over to harass him back out again. And he's watching the Bristleback's movements perfectly because of the Observer Ward that's sitting here inside the lane, so he knows when Kuiper's going to be moving himself up. Pass can't be there at the same time as Wind Ranger. He's just being a little bit too slow to get straight into the lane and be ready to rock and rumble. But it's giving Sochka a lot of space to farm up. But again, now like we have this, I don't even want to say ticking, no, it is really a ticking time bomb. Like the level 7 for Pugna is going to be the scary thing. That blast up at 4 levels, even 3 levels is enough to push out that bottom tower up against the Elder Titan. And there's nothing he can do to counter push it. And then you got Bulba. Once Dragon Form comes up, then he'll start to attack onto the tier 1 tower in middle lane. And that'll be around the same time as Fader will start rotating out and trying to find kills on the bottom lane. So all of this together, Sigma's going to lose a tier 1 tower in the bot or the mid first. Like, it's just what's going to happen. And Kuiper, like, he's forced all the way back, but he's going to start doing ancient stacking. This is just going to be his quick and easy farm.
Yeah. This is the same way that we see Dire Side, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Whoops.
They sometimes do that. When they throw Frenzy down, they lose their aggro sometimes. So it's unfortunate. But this is the way we still see Dire Side Bristlebacks being run all the time, is stacking up Ancients. This is a little bit less convenient because you're so far away from your lane, but Koifa doing anything he can for that little bit of extra experience. Unfortunately, he's missing out on a full siege creep right now.
Massive.
Yep.
Massive.
But one thing I'm really concerned about here is Sigma don't have heroes that naturally go into BKB. Like, Elder Titan will, but after some stat items, usually at least drums, upgraded boots, that sort of thing.
He's got like 3 last hits. He's got 3 last hits. It's going to take forever to get it.
Yeah, he's off lane, so it's going to be too late. In your main cores, like Timbersaw, not naturally going for BKB.
Yep.
Usually going for stats. And same goes with Kunkka.
Like he wants to have crit, he wants to have Shadow Blade, he wants to have these different things that allow him to maneuver and get kills instantly.
Which is an interesting way to think about this sort of push, is just being able to get that splash and do a large amount of, because between that, the Wind Ranger being able to throw a power shot, Timbersaw throwing a Chakram, it's very hard to push into that. Creep waves are going to die very, very quickly, but the strength of this lineup has never been dependent on creeps. That's the big thing about these sort of push lineups. We're not talking about a mass sort of early creeps pushing into tower, yada, yada, yada. It's not dependent on that. Dragon Knight is an independent pusher, meaning he doesn't necessarily need creeps on him. He's tanky enough, and he does enough tower damage that he doesn't require that. Same goes with Pugna. Pugna needs just a hero up in front, sure, but he doesn't necessarily need creeps to be able to siege down towers with that Nether Blast. So while they will be able to take down some of these creep waves rather quickly, I still don't necessarily see the direct burst damage they're going to be doing onto the Liquid heroes to keep them from sieging down towers like I did with Team Liquid's lineup.
Yep. I'm surprised by this play by Bulba with his Dragon Form. Do you see what Fader did the second he popped the Dragon Form? It just backed up and gave him a lot of extra space. It was wasting a lot of time on Fluff and stuff because Fluff was just hanging in the tree line over to the side while Chen was farming up. So he managed to soak up enough for hit level 4 after sitting there at level 3 for a while. but it just seemed to be more of a, I have this, I just want to make you aware of this, you are staying where you are, Fader. That's kind of the feeling I got from Bulber in that middle lane just then.
Yeah, that is the one thing about Dragonite may lose the lane in general due to CS, that sort of thing. He's actually only 1 deny behind Timbersaw. That's really impressive. But the one thing Dragonite has is much better ganking potential once he hits level 6 for setting up supports. So he just has that range stun to be able to set up the rotations of supports in the lane. That's the one thing Timbersaw cannot provide.
I'm surprised a little bit there by TC. Okay, looks like a smoke movement coming out from Way 2 as well as Fluff. The TC threw down that Nether Blast even though he knew that fortification was up. So he didn't get the easy damage on that tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, which is a bit more of a surprise for me. But he's got a lot of space. There's at level 7 of his. He can solo push. This is just crazy for him. And look at his build too. He's already going into Necro units, but middle lane must be our attempt for first blood. They set up on Bucking Mad. They need to get this Dragon Tower. They've already sealed him up. He got the wind run up. Flufferstuff's too low. Whirling Death. First blood will go the way of Sigma, but there's some quick returns coming off. Pass comes in. X marks spot. Going to go into a torrent. There's going to be another Whirling Death, and there she goes. Visage will take the kill. Chen's trying to pull his army back there, and Liquid just found themselves in way too deep on that mid.
Yeah, that was just a poor idea. I mean, Fluff and stuff going that direction, going on that side of the tower is already risky, but you're doing it without the Chen joining you as well. Like, if the Chen was there and he was leading with the creeps, yes, you're not taking tower. You've got the creeps to be able to keep heroes from just rushing at you like that, like Fluff and stuff had. If he had the Chen with him, maybe that's the right idea. But him solo doing that is just a really big overextension in Liquid's part. So not only do they feed away First Blood, but an additional kill as well. Bulbas can't be happy about that start.
Nah, he's going to be very annoyed with that. But at the same time, he knows he's going to get the burst gold coming from the bottom lane. Because Way 2 got half of his army out. He's got a Centaur and a Troll, and he's ready to push out the bottom lane. Very good warning by Sigma. They've already got one over on the side here. So they are watching very, very closely the movement from Liquid to this bottom lane. But it's just, again, the Elder Titan is down here. Windrunner TP'd herself down at this bottom lane almost instantly after that mid-fight, just to try and push TC back out again. But TC's going to come in here, let the creep wave attack the tower a little bit, and then blast it down. And there it is. Like, you can't even deny this tower. Creep wave gets attacked. Sigma's rotated 4 players down in case Pugden wants to push that any further. But this is when we should be seeing a fallback. Liquid don't have to force us anymore. TC should be, in fact, rotating in towards the middle lane to take the tier 1 tower there.
Yep, or possibly top. If he realizes that Sigma have put so many heroes bottom, he can go top and start putting pressure there, and it forces Sigma to have to teleport immediately, or else they're going to start losing a lot of towers. And once you start playing the chase game, where as long as Liquid doesn't get caught out, you can just force Sigma to constantly move around the map and not actually get anything of it.
Yep.
Like, as long as they don't pick up any hero kills, it's not worth their rotation just to defend towers from Pugnum pushes.
It's funny you actually mentioned up the top lane, because Coit for man, like, he's about to crack level 6. And then it's like danger time with the Bristleback. He's already managed to finish up his strength treads on this off lane. And for a guy who's only got 13 CS, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
That is pretty damn good. He's still not keeping up with the other type, but he's only behind by 5. And we know he's going to get his burst money coming out from these tower deaths anyway, so he's not too fearful about getting items. It's just finding the levels. Even Skywrath Mage, he's up to level 5 now. And if they give him enough space down here in the bottom lane, which they're doing, they've already rotated TC into the middle lane. But they'll just give Fluff the space on this bottom lane to crack level 6. And hopefully, for Fluff's sake, Arcane Boots.
Yeah, especially since the Chen is going to be able to give Bristleback a lot more survivability and get the mech. There's really not much to worry about. You know you're going to get a lot of
Miguel's
gold.
position's perfect. The Observer one. Oh, Miguel, he reacts slow. He reacted too slow. He's going to run down right now, but he's going to get slowed down. He's going to get sealed up. Bulba with a Dragon Tail stun. There's a Chen Nuke and a Breathe Fire still available, and DK wants to kill Secure with a Breathe Fire. But he was sitting in the perfect corner. Because he revealed the smoke off with that Observer Ward around the corner. He just sat there just a second too long.
Yeah, and this is the thing that I really don't like. Elder Titan, it seems like he's just one of those heroes that yes, he gives you a lot of mid to late game, but early game against these sort of push lineups, he's almost more of a detriment than he is a help, despite the fact that Aura and the Elder Titan is really good.
Oh, X-Torrent top lane. There's a ship coming in as well. TP's on the way in. Hand of God keeps Koi for alive as well as his stick charges TC. He's already got the Nether Ward down, so, well, a lot of burn time there for Pass. That's draining the life out from Paris or Soshka. But both those heroes will get away with the murder. While on bottom lane, Bulba and Fluff not really feeling their joy. And Fade is trying to harass. Good luck there, Timbersaw, bringing down a tier 1 tower by yourself. They still get the kill on Quoitfer.
Still, though, they're doing a good job controlling this. Liquid haven't spun out of control yet. They're not that far ahead.
They don't have that
gold.
Necro book up on Pugna yet, but when that starts to arrive, then trouble arrives.
Yeah, still though, even then, the Necronomicon is really only effective once you have level 2, and then it gets really effective at level 3. At level 1, it's still just kind of a free 100 gold sort of thing. It's not that effective. It's almost like I regard it like kind of like a Midas. Whereas yes, that initial amount of gold will hurt you because the stats and what it actually does is not that good for your immediate effect. But as you start building into it more as the game goes later, that's when it really starts becoming effective. But that'll be that should be just in time. The Necronomicon will come online about that 20 to 25 minute mark push that you're looking at. That's when it will really be effective. That timing that we've talked about before with Pugna.
Not quite sure if Liquid realized what just happened to their crew, but he got tagged on the way through. The Familiars were trying to just keep tabs on what's going on with this ancient stack. And almost managed to pick up the headdress, which was sitting on the courier at the same time.
Yeah, we're going to have a bit of a push at top. Looks like Liquid, I don't think they're going to fully commit to anything, but they're going to force rotations, which means middle will be able to come into play. Any sort of even 3v3, 2v2 situation, Liquid should come out on top with their two main cores being middle. This is the problem with Chen, is that Chen's going to force you to respond by only just being a support hero. Like, there aren't really any support heroes that can force you to defend a tower via their pushing, their laning presence.
Yeah.
Chen's really the only one that can do that. Even Enchantress just doesn't have enough creeps oftentimes. So here it comes. They force rotations top, and Bulba and TC are going to start putting pressure on this middle tower.
Yep, and Sigma have to use their fortification to stop this. It's the only way to do it, but then you just turn around and keep that Dragon Poison going currently over onto the tower, sending an illusion a little bit deeper so they can see what heroes are trying to come and stop them. But with just that one push, they brought a tower which is almost at full life, down to about, well, what's that, even a third, even less than that of its life points. While Flopper Stuff continues to find levels down here on the bottom lane. Finished up the Arcane Boots. I'm just liking how effective Liquid's been in their lanes. Like, we're already sitting at, oh, we got Trouble up on top. Maybe with the Timbersword TP up here.
They need to make something happen soon. That's exactly what
the net and then double Centaur stun. It's keeping Conqueror in position. He can't do anything. They may even not even lose this. No, they don't even lose the Chen army. Drops down a half-life, and Fade is trying to catch up to it. Chakram, as well as with the Whirling Death, he's going to pick up one Centaur. But that's a TP up towards top lane where you don't get the tower. Now the Nether Ward in the middle lane. Sochka's TP'd in here. ET throws the ulti out, but they're already going to back up. The mid tower is going to go down right now and will be denied up by Miguel. But that's fine for Liquid. That's still fine for Liquid. It's not the maximum amount of gold, but for them, it's more about map control right now.
Yeah, as long as they don't lose too many of those. Getting in too many denied towers can really hurt pushing lineups. But you're right, just one early denied tier 1 tower isn't that big of a deal for Liquid. So they still get what they want. It was a little bit more gold. And actually, they're going to jump in middle.
Missed timing, but TC still turns around and get hit by the boat. But Soshka tried to go for the X and Torrent. But just timing being just a fraction off. But this push top lane is happening again. So this will be Sigma taking out the tier 1 tower. There is a possibility for a deny with Quoitfer coming up, but I don't think he doesn't want to get in anywhere near Fader. So the top tower is killed off by Sigma. No deny. We start to see the levels rack up, as well as items. Medallion of Courage coming in for the Visage. I'm wondering if they'll start to consider Roshan, but they can't up against Liquid, can they? Like, if you try and go Roshan up against this kind of lineup.
They can sneak it with a smoke, maybe. That's the only ways you catch Liquid off guard. But this lineup is, you're beginning to see Paris. He's about to pick up Shadowblade, but top. Beta goes down. There goes that Mystic Flare damage, just tearing that hero apart. Long stun of Bulba, holding him in place. But going back to it, like Paris is about to pick up Shadow Blade. That's going to be a large amount of burst damage that can be thrown down in some of these pushes.
Radiant's
Unfortunately, I
middle
still
tower
see
is
a
under
lot of
attack.
sustainability on Liquid via the fact that they have an early Chen with mech and
Dire's
his
top
ultimate.
tower is under attack.
I don't see that sort of harassment damage coming up from Kunkka being all that effective, so they're going to have to go all in. Nice shackle.
Yeah, really nice shackle to follow with the Spirit. There's no stop being used on the Spirit just yet, but the familiar stumps. They've actually managed to hold TC as well as the Skywrath Mage back. Koifa being pulled back into the Torrent. Etioldi snaps back again, but there's no one in there. The Visage loses his own life. Oh, another shackle. Perfect from Mad. Catching out Team Liquid, and now it's a double kill for Fader. Steamrolling as that Timbersault, looking to pick up Bulba too. We have another X marks spot. This time no Torrent though, but Bulba trying to bottle up. He's got 15 one charges. The Shackle won't be able to latch, and he'll actually die. Except the fact to never get those charges off. And Sigma, very successful defense on the top.
And this is one of the advantages of Kunkka, is once the team fight breaks, you can turn that into so many more extra kills just because X marks the spot is so effective at being able to chase down allies and pull them back into place. So Liquid,
Radiant's top tower is under
those
attack.
small moments, and Boat is really good at being able to break team fights like that. Put enemies, back them off, and put them into bad position with X marks the spot immediately afterwards. It's a good plan. Liquid may just want to wait until they at least have Necronomicon 2 and BKB
Radiant's
up
top
on
tower is
Dragonite
under
before
attack.
they start pushing.
Yeah.
They may have gotten a little bit overeager
Radiant
with these
structures
early
are
pushes.
fortified.
And they pay for it. They pay for it badly. I wonder how much on the experience they do pay for it. About almost 3,000 experience they just gave back over towards Sigma. And as far as gold goes, it was almost exactly the same amount. That's rough times. Rough times ahead for Team Liquid.
Yeah, a lot more control, too, for Sigma of the map. You see in this top lane being pushed out a lot by Paris. Now that he has Shadow Blade, so he can definitely split push a bit more effectively as well. He should still be back when Liquid tries to actually force down towers, but in the meanwhile, he's going to be trying to split push as much as possible, keeping the attention of Liquid away from some of their towers, and just delaying the game as long as possible in order to get the big crit up on Kunkka, where you actually then, once you get like Daedalus, you actually have the possibility to actually burst down heroes with that that big Tidebringer hit, and not necessarily just the creep wave.
Is it really going to be enough to bring down Bristleback? Like, we know he's going to have a lot of life points. If his back is going to be turned at the time, is it...
Not necessarily Bristleback, but it may do enough damage that maybe the rest of his team can follow up. Heroes like Pugna, I mean, Pugna's a squishy hero that definitely needs to be close to the tower whenever he goes for that Nether Blast. He's going to be susceptible to it. Skywrath Mage, Chen, those kind of heroes, all potentially, even the Chen creeps are actually really important for tanking the tower, and those may get bursted down. So, while the Bristleback and the DK are definitely going to be those big, frightening creatures up front that just take a brunt of the damage, if they can wipe out some of the damage dealers in the back, they can just kite around the other two pretty effectively.
Yeah. Well, right now, Soshka, is he going to give this a crack? He was hoping that someone would stick around. Unfortunately for him, Bulba's already managed to run back to base, and Bulba now does have that BKB you were searching for. The level 2 Necro Books are up. The mech is up and running as well. They don't have the next item coming up for the Bristleback, but probably shouldn't be too far away. And he is now going to go into a BKB up on this Bristleback Ogre Club to start with, unless it's going to be a Heaven's Halberd. That'll be the only other choice on this.
I doubt it, unless he magically is able to get that halberd off before Kunkka gets his initial Tidebringer hit. It's kind of useless. Kunkka is not an active fighting hero. It's why he's not a very strong carry. He's got great burst physical damage, and it makes him more of a mid-game hero. He can go late with really big items, and obviously just is able to sometimes one-shot whole entire teams that way. But for the most part, after he hits his basic Tidebringer hit, he's not really that effective for another 5 seconds, and that's a long time.
Sigma's going to go in for the Roshan right now. They've got Medallion of Courage and the Visage to help them out. Now the pings have come out from Pugna. I think they've realized what's going on here, but they won't get there in time. Roshan's taking too much damage, and they're too split up. Like, DK's up on the top lane farming up. You've got a Bristleback on the bottom lane farming up. So now Ego Simona will be in the hands of Sigma for the next fight, as well as the extra gold and experience that comes their way for getting the kill.
Yeah, this is trouble. That just means, again, combating some of this push with Teamfight. Now, Liquid do have a better late game composition than Sigma did last game, but still, losing the early game like this early push, like only being able to take 2 tier 1 towers off this push lineup, I call that losing.
Soshka's on his way in. Couldn't get the crit off, and Liquid backing up perfectly, really. They'll let this tier 1 tower go, because also up on the top lane, Bulba's taking a tier 1 tower, so this becomes a trade-off. Quoiva will TP himself off the bottom lane, but a tier 1 for a tier 1's okay for Liquid right now. Even though they just lost Roshan, like taking the fight is something they don't want to do unless they know they have a high ground advantage.
Yeah, you're right. If it wasn't for the Aegis, like trading...
Oh, here they go. X, Torrent, Shackle, won't latch. It's just a second too early there from Matt, but the ship will hit and the soul assumption damage. So Chen's on the sidelines and Liquid lose their big healer. So good snipe off there by Sigma. Now it becomes a better trade for them. Because they'll just move and rotate down to the bottom tier 1 tower and take it out. As I'm saying that though, Miguel and a secondary TP from Mag goes towards the top lane.
Yep, spread out and farm. They got the pick off they needed. They know Team Liquid is not going to be looking to push into tier 2s just yet, especially with the Aegis up. So Sigma are going to use this time to farm up, try and finish up their big items, more damage on Kunkka. He's actually going to be going for a BKB first before... I was expecting maybe at least a Crystallis for that basic chance at being able to crit. But instead he goes for a safer route, BKB, a little bit more active in team fights in that regards instead of just a one hit and back off. So it allows them to commit a little bit more when they do engage with the boat and Torrent.
And how many times have you seen... Actually, no. I'm going to take my thought back. It was an interesting thought, but not that interesting.
Oh. I thought you were going to ask how many times have you seen Mech on Timbersaw?
No, I wasn't even going to go with that one. Because I've seen that before from Ice Ice Ice.
Yeah, I was going to say only once or twice. Yeah.
It's happened in the past. Then like your BKB over on the Kunkka fully done now. And a Blink Dagger over on the Windrunner and... wait, what? Oh, no. She bought a Blink Dagger and then bought the Force Staff. I'm guessing mistakes were made.
Yeah, Blink Dagger is not bad. The initiation that you get off of that instant Blink Shackle, like it puts you in a way better position than Force Staff ever can.
And is it really as good as like having an extra mana pool and normal health regeneration?
Right. The big thing is being able to keep some of those heroes that could...
he's going to trigger the BKB and TP out. Look at him, just like, I kneel.
Yeah. Easy. Necrobook 3 is now up on Pugna, and we're going to start seeing that build into Aghanims. So another 3 minutes, and they'll probably start pushing in. Wait for the Aegis to go down first.
I'm almost wondering if that would have been better if Bulba just died. Because he just blew a 10-second BKB to escape from someone, which is just like, it was just a basic X to Torrent. Like, he didn't know what follow-up was going to be there, but...
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I would say it's almost always worth it to be safe in these sort of situations. Him getting picked off could actually mean a lot for Sigma.
But at the same time, like, with the BKB going down, you can see Sigma going, well, BKB's down, everybody come top, let's push it in. The tier 2 tower, in fact, Liquid, Bulba was hanging around there, and he backed up. He said, there's no point me trying to defend this tower. The tier 2 tower is going to go down anyway. It was low on life. If they try to fight on top of that tower, they could find themselves fighting from the low ground, and then Liquid would be GG'd out of this, because Sigma would just push into the high ground then. And they're rotating over already, Sigma. They're trying to catch somebody out. And Floppenstuff's going to be the man who's at the end. And X, Torrent, pulling him back in again. Ships on the way in too. Timber Chain through the Meg and the Hand of God. And trying to send him back from the champ. But it was too much. But he didn't even try the set. Actually, no, he did. So, wait 2 seconds, he's going to die. Timber Chain at the last point. Oh, no, they got the X!
Wow.
What? Wait,
another
what?
BKB.
Oh, he had to...
Yep, another BKB charge down for DK.
So that's 2 BKB charges used up by Bulba. Both to escape away from Sigma.
Not good.
No.
Not good.
Definitely not. This is Sigma just rolling with the punches now. It's kind of hilarious that they're the ones that are playing without the Pugna and without their push strat from last time and having more success with team fights as well as bringing down towers on the map than they did in the last game.
Well, I mean, if you run this strat a lot, you oftentimes know the greatest ways to be able to deal with it. Last time, I think Liquid had a really good way. But the biggest thing, this all comes back down to that top tier 1 fight. that happened for Liquid. They lost so much momentum there. It's a problem with push lineups like this is they lose steam very, very quickly. All it takes is just one bad team fight for you to lose control and fail to build up. And it's before. Like, it can't happen after
Jump,
you've already
X,
taken.
Torrent. They're trying to send the Skywrath Mage back already, but he dies before Chen can finish the job. This is now a bottom tower to go down. That double nuke is now gone too. And Elder Titan brings in his extra damage. Bo's 180 damage on Elder Titan. And he's already running himself back. Oh, come on, Miguel. You could have beaten down that tower like a man. Instead, you are a mouse.
Oh, he's a pretty farmed mouse.
Pretty large mouse as well. Walking around with a bottle opener.
It's a staple gun.
It's such a bottle opener, man.
It's a staple gun.
See, dude, okay. Damn it! Now I can't use Showcase. Now I can't use Showcase to actually show you it's a bottle opener.
It's clearly not a bottle opener.
Does your Showcase work today? Like for this game now?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Fine. Fine, Valve. Fine.
Valve giveth, Valve taketh away.
But from game to game? Why do you...
Shiva is up on Timbersaw.
All I do is want to see the detailing, man. I just want the details. Whoops, my bad. Chen dies in the bottom lane. It's like Shadow Blade.
Yeah.
And Chen never even saw the air. That's rough. And now Crit will be also there for the Kunkka. He's got 3,300 gold.
So Liquid have either abandoned their push strat by now. Yeah, I think that's completely what's happening. Because they should have been grouping up much earlier if they were actually going to go for more of these pushes. It looks like they're just going to try and push this a little bit late. Sigma doesn't have the greatest late game. Like, they've got Kunkka as their carry.
There's already going to be the Torrent. Timber Chain down into a Whirling Death. Got silenced up pretty quickly, so the follow-up Chakram wasn't there. But with the Shiva's gun, it's just, man, that burst damage from Sigma when they do jump in. And now the Spirit right over the Chen army, looking for the other heroes, and they're going to go on Bulba. Bulba, BKB, he already let the X-Mark spot go and then just stunned up onto Fader. But Fader, Timber Chains, and somehow managed to get the tree the furthest away from anybody, while Sochka sits in his own BKB. And he bought a Demon Edge, so he had the extra damage early on. Fader, ooh! He accidentally killed off the Necro unit. He took the damage, burst straight back to himself. And now Bulba wants to try and come out and fight somebody. He needs a stun straight away. Koiva's over on the side. He's not going to be able to catch up to both Miguel as well as to pass. And Miguel's even going to find just the TD rune quickly. But that's a nice little freebie coming the way there. That's actually Bristleback away to the dominating spree. 585 gold going his way.
Yeah, that's a great pickoff, but it's still not going to put them in control of this game.
No. It's not, but it's the first step on a Bristleback. Like it could be now his Rod of Atos if he wants to have it.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of options right now for Liquid when they start getting those big pickoffs.
Yeah, it's the way they're building this lineup is they're just content to be able to spread out and farm, try and get the Bristleback, the DK into their carry status, and when they do get a pickoff, when they do get that good fight that comes to them from Sigma, they'll turn that into very, very fast towers because you're going to have an Assault Cuirass up on Dragonite. Obviously, you still have the Pugna, who's always a good pushing force with the Necrobook 3. And even the Bristleback is going to be able to start hitting decently hard. So they're just going to try and push this late game. They're still going to have to deal with the burst potential of a Kunkka carry, which is always very, very dangerous, especially since he's about to pick up Daedalus. But I think they can contest late game.
Oh, with an AC, with the Aghanim Scepter, you said with level 3 Necro books, yeah, I think Liquid definitely can do it. They might want a little bit more on that DK, but yeah, that'll be all you really do require. As long as they can control up Fader during the fights and evade the quick burst damage that comes out from the Kunkka, then Liquid have a fighting chance. They just need to evade those two things, and then you're good to go.
Well, Roshan is up, but it is a risky take for both teams. A little bit riskier here for Liquid. Even just trying to contest it is going to be pretty dangerous. If they lose another team fight, another big team fight like that, they probably have lost the game.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they're going to try and force one anyway. All 5 players coming up the mid. Maybe they're just hoping for the tier 2 tower and force the fight in that area. But they need the creep wave to come with them. Meanwhile, up on the top lane, Matt's just trying to force this out. He can TP himself back in a couple of moments' time. But that ET Spirit's not making it easy for Team Liquid. Now the Necro units are up for TC. They're going to try and force the tower. X marks spot. Torrent, BKB already up from Bulba. ETO's in a nice position on both Kuiper as well as Bulba, and Kunkka just cleaves down Liquid. This was the all or nothing kind of push now. TC gets stomped up. They're trying to pick up Bulba. TC shackled towards a tree and then firmly executed by the French. That's 18-5, and Sigma will go for a full mid push up, looking for tier 2 or maybe even tier 3 tower. And this is GG.
Yep.
31 minutes in, and Liquid, they knew it. It was the last roll of the dice for them. If they took that fight, we will be here for another 20 minutes with the potential for victory. But the potential's gone, Cap.
Just like Sigma, they call it nice and early. They recognize that, you know, they can go later than Sigma could last game. It's why this game is pushed on for 31.5 minutes instead of an early, you know, 25-minute GG call. But still, after that last team fight, they just gave up too much control for Sigma. You were probably looking at easy racks there. And with that Daedalus pickup on Kunkka, you'd have to get very, very lucky because eventually Kunkka was going to get that crit Tidebringer hit, and then at that point, everyone gets wiped out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Break time, peoples. We'll be back here in a couple of moments' time. It is a best of 5, and we get to level up at 1 apiece. So stay tuned, and we'll see you back here in just a moment.